Hi, this is Jonathan with Fishing with Faith Outdoors. Glad y'all was able to tune back in today. So today we're going to show y'all how I fish the jig. Okay, and if y'all stay tuned, we'll get right at it. All right, glad y'all was able to tune back in today. If y'all don't mind, please like the videos and subscribe and share with all your friends and family. That will greatly support, appreciate the support of the channel. And the jig, there's so many different kinds of jigs out there. This is what most people call a bass jig. So, you know, it's got a skirt. Jig head here in a weed guard, and most of them have a pretty good stout hook, and you put a trailer on there. Okay, some kind of crawl trailer of some sort. So basically what a jig does is mimic a crawfish. That's what a jig mimics. Okay, and there's swim jigs, there's football jigs, there's mini bitsy bug jigs, there's, oh man, and the list goes on and on. So I'm gonna try to keep it basic, keep the basics for you, simple. And so first, let's talk about the gear I fish it on. It's a medium heavy with a 7.5-to-1 gear ratio reel, bait caster preferably, for anything that's 1/4 ounce or bigger. Hey buddy, look, come here. You want to say hey to the camera? What you want to show everybody what you're using to fish? So what you throwing?
Hey, camera.
Say what you throwing.
Hey, camera.
Say hey, YouTube.
Hey, YouTube.
Okay, so what are you throwing?
Hey, channel.
He's throwing a jerkbait. This is a good thing to throw this time of year. All right, well, you stay right here, buddy. Don't go. Stay right here so I can watch it. All right, you just cast it right out yonder. Awesome job, man. All right. So, what's your name? Can you say your name?
Hey, man.
Say, my name's William. That's my son, William. He's 2. He'll be 3 in February. Can you say 3?
3.
Awesome. You throw that jerkbait out there, man. The bass love a jerkbait. Maybe we'll go over jerkbait soon, huh? Anyway, medium heavy, 7.5-to-1 gear ratio bait caster. I like this is a Lew's. You can use any brand you want to use. I'm not trying to say any brand, just any brand. I generally will stay away from the cheaper stuff. You just choose on what you think's cheap and what you think's a better buy for the money. So anyway, all right. So 7.5-to-1 gear ratio bait caster reel with a medium heavy rod. I don't know if y'all can see back here, but these waters I fish in South Georgia. And again, I'm targeting the middle Georgia, South Georgia area because this is where I live. I'm not traveling the country doing different lakes and ponds. I want to stay in the general area, so I want to help you in the area I fish. For those that live in this area, in the areas I fish. Hey man, stay right here on this pad. We'll go over there in a little bit. I don't want you over there by yourself, okay? So, I like 15-pound fluorocarbon. You want to use 15-pound fluorocarbon with a jig or anything that sinks to the bottom because fluorocarbon sinks, okay? You can use monofilament, but you're going to have to go down in size on your monofilament so it won't create a bow in the water. Monofilament floats, so it'll create a bow. Where fluorocarbon sinks, so it actually sinks down, okay? And it gets the bait down better, okay? So you can go down to 12 pounds depending on your water clarity. If your water clarity is I want to say 2 foot or deeper, then you want to use a lighter line. And also if you're fishing around light cover, then you use a lighter line. But if you're fishing, stay up here. If you're fishing dark waters, you can get away with 15 fluorocarbon. If you're fishing heavy cover, then you want to use 15-pound fluorocarbon or 20-pound fluorocarbon because it's it won't get cut up as easy fishing around at heavy cover with a heavier line, if that makes sense, okay? So, light cover, light line, clear water, light line, heavy water, heavy cover, heavier line, darker waters, you can get away with heavier line. Okay. And also too, that goes with the color of your jig. So this is a 6 cents hybrid jig, and the reason why I like the hybrid jig is because I can fish it like a football jig, I can swim it, I can flip it, and I can skip it. Okay. Hey man, stay right here. No, stay right here. We're gonna go over there in just a minute. So that's why I buy this brand jig. Okay. If you're not familiar with jigs, just go buy you a flipping jig and learn how to cast it and flip it and work it on the bottom. Okay. If you don't know what a football jig is, the weight looks like a football, and you drag it on the bottom real slow. Okay. We'll go over the football jig when I tie one on and go over that, and that will be used this time of year. So I like, speaking this time of year to start throwing a jig really good, really hard, because they're focused on crawfish and stuff. They fattening up, the bass are fattening up for the winter. When the fall starts, the bass start fattening up for winter. So they go after bait fish and crawfish. Okay, if you don't know what bait fish are, that's small brim in your ponds, lake, shad, gizzard shad, anything forage they'll go for. So a bass is a predator. It stalks, it hunts and ambushes fish or anything that's slightly smaller than its own body. I mean, bass have been on the bait, swim baits that are about a foot long. Okay. All right. So, what's up, man? What you got? You done fishing? Put your hat back on. Okay. So, anyway, that's my setup. All right, this is what I use. So anything that's 2 foot in water clarity, if your water's dingy and you can't see down but only about 2 foot, black and blue is what I go with. And the reason why I like this one, because it has green pumpkin in it. Okay, so I can probably use this one in any color water or any clarity water. Okay, so if it's dark waters, you can only see about 2 foot down. Black and blue is what you want to go with. Anything greater than that, you can get away with green pumpkin. And far as trailer goes, get you a crawl style trailer that pretty much matches the color of your jig skirt. Okay, this is a peanut butter and jelly, and the water out here is a little bit darker than I was thinking, so I might have to put a darker trailer on, but we're gonna start out with this. Green pumpkins you want to use, you can use peanut butter and jelly, green pumpkin style crawl trailer. This is Strike King raised crawl. It's a good bait. And also too, when the water gets below 50, say 50 below, you want to put something on that's not so much action in the tail, something that's a little bit more settled. And Zoom Chunk is a good one to put on when it gets really cold. Okay, the water gets really cold, but until the night temperatures start getting down in the 50s, this water ain't gonna cool off below 40s in the south unless it gets really cold for 3 or 4 days. So generally we ain't down here in the south, our waters stay above 48, let's say 46 degrees. I don't know if they even hit 48. They might, depending on the area, but down here in the south it may not even hit 47 degrees. But anyway, anything under 50 degrees, I'll put on a crawl trailer that doesn't have a lot of action to it. All right, so this one kicks a lot. But anyway, a crawl style trailer is what I put on here. On your weed guard, I like to trim my weed guard. I like to push my weed guard down, and there's a barb. I want these bristles to be cut off even with that barb. I don't know if y'all can see that. Okay. All right, I try not to cut it no lower than that, because it'll start getting hung up. This right here keeps it from getting hung up, but I want it basically even with that barb right there. Okay, that's how I cut it off. And you cut it off straight this way so it'll be in an angle. Okay, and then you thread your trailer on straight in the center of your bait. Gauge your bait on your hook where it's gonna come out. You want the hook to come out generally to the end of the bait, so that's about how much I leave right there. It's about a ½ inch. So you can cut it off or bite it off to where it'll gauge coming out, you know, fairly close to the end of the bait, okay? All right, so that's pretty simple right there, right? Okay. All right, so how I work this jig. Trying to make sure I didn't forget anything. I'm sure I did. But if I did, if anything you want to know about what I just talked about, please leave a comment in the comment section and we'll go back over that, okay? All right, so how I cast this. All right, let me turn y'all a little bit like that right there. Here we go. So how I cast this jig. So first you need to get familiar on casting a bait caster. There's lots of videos on how to do that. It's very simple. I have one on there too that explains you how to set it up and casting it. So if you need a more better video on that, please leave a comment and I'll do that as well. Hey buddy, you want to fish right here? All right, so what I want to do is you throw this jig around lay downs, stumps, any kind of cover. You can throw it out here in the middle of the pond and drag it back to you, hop it back to you very slowly. So we're gonna do that. So I'm gonna cast it out here and let it hit the water. Now, when it hits the water, I'm gonna want it to sink straight down. Don't touch your reel until it sinks straight down, okay? All right, once it hits the bottom, I'm gonna reel up my slack. And probably the most efficient way of fishing a jig is you want it to mimic a crawfish. Now, in the warmer months, in the fall months where the water ain't so cold, you can get away just hopping it, okay? Now, when the water gets really cold, you just drag it really slow, because when stuff like people, you get cold, you don't want to move very fast. So anything in the water that's getting really cold doesn't move very fast. So don't get in the water, man. Come here. Throwing rocks. Okay. So, like I said, until that water hits below 50, things still move like they do if the water was around 70 or 80, okay? All right, so what I'm gonna do is, I'm just gonna give it a little pop like that right there, all right? So let it fall back down and give it a little pop. Let it fall back down and give it a little pop. And what it does, it's picking that crawfish, that jig off the bottom like this right here, and it's, you know, floating back down, bouncing, floating back down. So it looks like a crawfish trying to get away. If you ever seen a crawfish get away, trying to get away from you, you try to catch one, it'll jump up and it'll swim backwards real fast. That's kind of what you're imitating. All right, just bump it, and bump it, okay? And that's how you want to do that, all right? So another way you can do this jig, all right, let's cast it back out there. All right, so we got it out there. Let it hit to the bottom. Watch your line. Your line will stop pulling across the water. When it stops pulling across the water, engage your reel and reel up your slack. All right, I'll drag it a little bit like this right here. Reel up the slack. All right, drag it a little bit like this right here. Reel up the slack, then I'll go thump, thump. Okay, so that look like crawfish is coming, and something spooked it. So then it goes thump, thump. You see what I'm saying? Like it's trying to get away. All right. If you don't know exactly what that looks like, I'm pretty sure there's a video somewhere out there that'll show you what a crawfish looks like in the water as it's real life. Okay. All right. Drag it. Nice and easy. Not real fast. Give it, you know, drag it a few minutes. A few strokes like that right there. And go thump, thump. All right. So you can do it like that all the way back to you. Hey, buddy. Hey, man. What you doing? You feeding fish rocks? All right, so now I'm gonna cast it out here. And this is what I will do with a football jig. This particular retrieve right here is what I will do with a football jig. Hey, William, come here. You're making me nervous down there. Let's come up here. Cause you're gonna get wet and your mama's gonna be mad at me. Stay right here, okay? You can walk over, stay on this side of the grass and get your pole and come back over here, okay? All right, so this is how I do a football jig. And you can do it with a flipping jig as well, or casting jig, okay? This is the reason why I like the Divine, the 6 Cents Divine Hybrid, because I can do all 3 or all 4 styles of the jigs they make, because it's designed to do that. So just reel up the slack. All right, now hold your rod and drag it this way, real slow, like this right here. Okay, reel up the slack, drag it to you like this right here. And what it does is gonna look like that crawfish or whatever it is that the bass is looking for is moving across the bottom. You know, down on the bottom, nothing's moving real fast. Just, you don't want to let something spook it, then it's gonna try to get away. So I just drag it back to me nice and slow like that right there, okay? So that's the 3 retrieves I use. There's a lot of different other ones. I can show you this one real quick. Just throw it out there. And this retrieve is, what you got, man? What you got, man? Is to create a reaction strike, okay? So I'll let it go to the bottom again. I'll reel up my slack. All right, look. There's a dang ant there. I can see that ant there right there. Look, there's an ant there. Let's not get in it. See that ant? Ouch. Ouch. Yeah, let's not get in it. All right, stay over here. Don't go over that way. We're going to move from this spot here in just a minute. Dave's going to finish this video, okay? Yeah, ouch. All right, so real quick. So let it go to the bottom. So I'm going to do this right here. I'm going to boom. See that? Grab the back of my handle, I'll pop it real hard, and it brings that bait way up in the water column and lets it come back down. And you just do that till you feel like you're out of the spot that you're fishing. And what it does, when it jumps up real fast on the way down, they'll hit it. 9 out of 10 times, they're going to hit it when it comes back down. All right, so I'm going to bump it up right there real hard. Let it go back to the bottom, reel up my slack. Bump it up like that real hard. Let it go back bottom, and reel up my slack, okay? So that's how you do that. Ripping a jig off the bottom. So that's the 4 retrieves I generally use fishing a jig. Now when you're doing flipping and all that, you need to learn how to flip. You're going to want to use that around cover, along the bait, flipping cover around the bait bank. And if you don't know how to fish or use a bait caster, learn to use the bait caster and then learn how to start flipping. Matter of fact, I'll leave a video on flipping in the description below, okay? And I did forget something. On fluorocarbon, my knot is going to be a Palomar knot. I only use a Palomar knot on fluorocarbon, okay? All right, so learn how to tie a Palomar knot is really, really simple. And also, too, I use Palomar knot on braid. No other knot on braid but a Palomar knot. No other knot on fluorocarbon but a Palomar knot, okay? All right, and monofilament uni knot works really good, or Palomar knot, okay? So, all right, so I hope that helps. If you don't understand the jig situation and why people use them, these baits get really big fish bites, okay? They don't get a lot of bites, but they'll get quality fish bites, okay? I've got big bass on this thing, and it's basically kind of like a Texas rig. You'll know when they hit it, you'll feel it going thump thump, or they'll thump, or you see it. You know, if you ever caught a bass on a Texas rig, then basically that's what it feels like on a jig, and sometimes a little bit more aggressive, okay? But it's a really good bait to learn how to throw and use. Like I said, it mimics a crawfish, and they don't make these things for no reason. They work. They're really good baits. All right, so I highly recommend a 6 Cents Divine hybrid jig. You can get any brand you want, but like I said, I hope that helps. And any questions on anything I've done, or you want to know more specific, more detailed, please leave a comment section below, and we greatly appreciate y'all watching. And like I said, if you would like and subscribe to the channel, share with your friends and family, I greatly appreciate it. And also too, if you don't know Lord Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, I please ask that you want to talk to me about it. Please talk to me about it. If not, get with your local pastor. Jesus saves. He loves you. He saves anybody that will come to him and ask for forgiveness. Doesn't matter where you've been, how you've been, or what you've done. Jesus died for us all to save humanity from destruction of sin. And the only way to get to heaven is through his son, Jesus Christ. And if you don't want to burn for eternity, I highly recommend asking Jesus into your heart and living for him so you can live for eternity. Okay? So thank y'all for watching again, and God bless. We'll see y'all at the next one.